What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Loose Change. It's your boy, the Show Off, and I'm back. So, a couple months ago, I had a female ask me. She was asking me why her boyfriend did not want to marry her. Why was he dragging his feet or whatnot? So I did a video on it back then, and I wanted to do a part 2. Basically picking up where I left off on that video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link in the description if you want to go back and watch that video or whatever the case. And just a brief synopsis. I basically said that, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, men know who we are in the equation. At the same time, you know what I'm saying, like, there are things that we see in the world and that we see in our everyday dealings with the partners that we have, that kind of spill over from the world into our partners, that says, you know, doesn't make any reference to a forever relationship, which that's what marriage is supposed to be. It's like, I'm committing myself to this person for the rest of my life. All right. So just to pick up where I left off at, the last thing I said in the video was, if things shouldn't work out once those papers, would you marry him without papers? Would you marry him and commit yourself to this person without signing legal papers? And the reason why I say that is because once he signs those papers, the business aspect of the relationship kicks in. All right. For that matter, there's a business aspect that affects a lot of people as far as their decision making, when it comes to just being in a relationship. The end usually ends with a business transaction. Relationship, once you reach a certain point, the relationship ends in a business transaction. Now, what I mean by that is, there are certain things that happens at the point that you have a child, at least. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, not for the most part, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. Generally speaking, the man takes the short end of that business aspect in just about every situation. Just about every situation. Now, what I mean by that, I have videos about child support. You would have to go through and look those up, and then there's the alimony aspect. You know what I'm saying? So, keeping up someone's lifestyle or whatever the case may be, all of those things come into play when you talk about relationships. So the reason why men are hesitant on the marriage aspect is, in part, it's not fully the case, but in part because of the business aspect of relationships and what happens if they end. For the most part, the woman is going to receive the benefit of the doubt once it gets into court. And this can even go even further into why men are hesitant, and I got a video about this too. Why men are hesitant about getting involved in a relationship where she has kids from a previous relationship. So let's go into the business aspects of these things. All right. So at the end of a relationship, let's say you just have a child together. The end of the relationship, the business aspect is what's assumed in most states in the United States, that the mother will be the primary guardian of the child, will be the custodial parent. All right. So now you enter in the threatening stage. Doesn't matter what you're doing sometimes. A lot of times it doesn't matter what you're doing for the kid or the kids or whatever the case may be. A lot of times that's an ego thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna force you, you're gonna do what I told you to do, or I'm gonna force you to do it. Alright? Now, when I say the last thing I said, which is men hesitating to get involved with someone who has children from a prior relationship, a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people who are actually in this situation and going through this situation don't understand that at the end of that relationship where he gets put on child support or whatever the case may be, every child that lives in the home with her, whether it's his or hers, whether it's his or not, I should say, actually factors into her case. So in a sense, you may end up paying child support for children that aren't yours, and you know they aren't yours, and she knows that they aren't yours, yet they live in the household, so that has an effect on how much child support you will pay. Alright? Going a little bit further into the business aspect of the end of the relationship, there's the things that come with being married to somebody, or whatever the case may be. The business aspect of being married to someone includes spousal support and or alimony. All right, so in the first video, I told y'all about belief. Anything that you're going to do and be successful at starts with belief. All right? The general temperature out here is that black women do not believe in black men. They don't believe that black men that black men can actually be in monogamous relationships and be good husbands or good fathers or whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of situations where black men aren't quite permitted to be good, productive fathers and husbands. And what I mean by that is the relationship that he has with the person that he's not with anymore becomes a barrier to them to him being a productive father. And then the other part of it is when you have, first of all, let's be clear about something. When you go into court for child support, you may have receipts showing everything you did, and you know what they tell you at the court? They tell you, that's not my concern. They won't even look at it. So, in other words, what you have done and whether you're justified by being put into the system doesn't even matter. Because this woman now controls your destiny. She controls your destiny. She controls your freedom. Whether you, like, if you go into some hard times or whatever the case may be, now this woman is in charge of what happens to you. All right? So even if you are a good father, if you were a good husband, if you were a good boyfriend, or whatever the case may be, even if the relationship ended because of something that she did, or just because she just didn't want to be with you, or whatever the case may be, felt like the grass was greener on the other side. Even if that's the case, now she controls your destiny. She controls your life going forward. She controls certain parts and certain aspects of your life going forward. You can't walk away. You can't necessarily walk away and continue to do right by your children and simply end up with a cordial situation where I've been seeing a lot of people posting that child support is not for, and a lot of women are posting this. Child support is not for, it's for absentee fathers, not for failed relationships. And that statement is absolutely true. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a situation where, yeah, you might not get it right then, but if he's working diligently to get you what you need for the kids, then why do you feel the need to put them on child support? Because your relationship ended? Because a lot of times that comes down to, well, I think you should take whatever I give. And that's the same attitude that you take into the back half of your, once the relationship is over. Is I think you should do whatever it is that I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. And it's a demasculation thing, emasculation thing, and it's a control thing about continuing to control this man's life or certain aspects of it. So this offers you, between the two videos, this right here offers you a complete basis of why men are apprehensive about getting married, and that we need to be more apprehensive about who we having kids with, man. Simple. That we need to. It's as simple as that. And again, I'm not talking down to you, like, I'm not talking down to anybody who might be listening to it, but as men, we need to take responsibility for our parts, you know what I'm saying? We should be having kids by our wives. We should be fully committed to that woman. That woman should be fully committed to us. That's why I talked about equally yoked in my last video. We should be able to build a future, set our kids up, make our kids have something to walk into, be an example for our kids for what they should shoot for, rather than, y'all know what we do. Like our relationships, like I've said on several videos, around 75% of black children grow up in a single parent household. How could they ever get to a point where they understand that a family life, and that's the way that it's supposed to be, that's the way that it's meant to be? If, you know what I'm saying, like, a lot of times we put more faith in the blended family than to make the initial family thing work. And sometimes you just don't have a choice. But I do these videos to try to create understanding between both sides. Like I said, for the most part, I think men know and understand, the best of us know and understand who we are and what we represent in the equation. And in this video, I'm just telling you what it is that we see and how we move according to what we see. All right? A lot of us want to be a family. A lot of us want to be coming home to the same woman every day. A lot of us want to be, and I can't justify what the other guys don't do or do or what they want to do. I can't justify those things. But I can speak for those of us who want to be productive and have family and do right for the kids, you know what I'm saying? We recognize who we are in the equation. And a lot of us are going against the grain. But it starts with being able to have conversations like this one. Conversations like when I was talking about equally yoked. When you look at how we interact on social media, it's all a competition about who does what and who can do what and who should do what. It's all a competition. It's all bullshit, really. So at the end of the day, man, I hope ladies understand what it is. Like, if you go back and look at some of my videos, some of my recent videos, I was talking about women being offended when you ask what you bring to the table. When a man asks them what you bring to the table. It's that we looking for forever. We ain't looking for your money or whatever the case may be, but how can what you have and what you bring to the counter go with what I bring to the counter in order for us to have something to put on our table? Show off.